this innately is my code for scrolling high on the 8x8, and it's rather repetitive. It just goes through, it displays the text, and it puts it on that first column, and then it waits, and then it puts it on the next column, the next column, next column, next column, and it's really repetitive and tedious. So I want to show you a nicer way, a cleaner way to have it repeat. So I'm going to bring this out here, and I'm going to do what's called a for loop. So we're going to go here, loops, and we're going to grab this for index. Okay. So innately, when you first do a for loop, it just brings in this variable called index. And for me, that index is kind of a hard thing to understand what it is. So I'm just going to rename that variable to something that is a little bit more understandable. And essentially, I want to count the different columns, right? So I can rename it as offset column. So you might want to think about how many times you have this offset column. It starts at 0, but kind of think about what your final counter is for your offset column. I'm going to duplicate some of these blocks and bring them in. So duplicate this. It's going to start at 0. I'm going to bring in the pause as well. And so the first thing it's going to do in this loop is it is going to display the text, but I want to tell it where to display it. I need to put in this offset column. So I'm going to come over here to my variables. So it's going to display it for the first offset column. It's going to create that offset column to be 0 the first time. It's going to run through this loop. It's going to make that offset column 1 the next time. It's going to run through this loop. It's going to make that offset column 2, run through the loop, offset column 3, etc. When it's finally done, I had a pause at the very end of my code just so I knew when it was done repeating. And so I just added a little bit longer of a delay when it went through the whole thing. So these for loops are an easier way to do your code without having all of this code, especially when you have something repeating and you're just changing a value by increments.